Hello and welcome back to Daily English Upgrade. We have a different kind of story for you today. This is a story about mystery, adventure, and finding a hidden truth. The language is simple and the pace is slow, perfect for your A2 and B1 listening practice. Today, you will listen to the journey of a young historian named Myra and a secret that has been waiting for many years. If you like this story, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. It will help us make more English lessons for you. Now, let us begin the story of the hidden map. Part 1: The Library and the Secret. Myra is 28 years old. She lives in a quiet, very old town near the ocean. She is a historian. She loves old books. She loves old places. She loves finding secrets that the world has forgotten. Her job is at the town's central library. It is a beautiful building, full of dust and full of silence. One Tuesday afternoon, Myra is working in the section for very old documents, documents that are 100 years old or more. She is cleaning a large wooden chest, a chest that has not been opened for 50 years. The chest is heavy and the lock is rusty. Myra uses an old silver key and the lock clicks open. Inside the chest, there are many thick brown papers, old letters, and old photographs. At the bottom of the chest, Myra finds a small, thin leather book. The leather is dark brown and the pages are yellow. She opens the book. It is not a history book. It is a personal journal written by a man named Silas, a sea captain who lived in the town in the year 1920. Silas wrote about the sea, about the weather, and about the money he had earned from his ship. On the very last page, Myra finds a hidden pocket. In the pocket, there is a piece of strong, folded cloth. The cloth is not a napkin, it is a map. A small map drawn with black ink. Myra looks closely at the map. The map shows a long, thin coastline, a few small islands, and a big X mark in the middle of a rocky beach. Next to the X, Silas had written 3 words: the starlight. Myra feels a sudden rush of excitement. She has found a true mystery. She has found a clue to something hidden. She thinks this is not just an old journal, this is a secret, a treasure map. She closes the chest, she puts the little leather book in her work bag, and she leaves the library. She does not tell anyone about the map, not her manager, not her friends. This is her secret, her private adventure. Part 2: The Old Lighthouse. The next morning, Myra studies the map carefully. She compares it to a modern map of the coastline. She sees that the X mark is located near the old lighthouse. The lighthouse is 3 hours from the town. It is a difficult place to reach. The road is long and unpaved. The lighthouse is famous in the town. It has been abandoned for many years, since a big storm damaged it in 1955. Nobody lives near the lighthouse now. It is remote, and it is very quiet. Myra decides she will go there immediately. She packs a small bag, water, food, and a good flashlight. She drives her small blue car out of the city, onto the long, dusty coastal road. The journey is slow. The road is full of potholes. As she drives, she thinks about Silas. Why did he hide this map? What is the starlight? After 3 hours, she sees the lighthouse. It is tall, white stone, and standing alone on a high cliff. The air is fresh, the waves are crashing loudly against the rocks below. The place feels wild and powerful. Myra gets out of her car. The wind is strong. She holds her hat tightly. She walks carefully down the path toward the beach that the map has marked with the X. The beach is small and full of large, wet stones. Myra looks at the map and then looks at the beach. The map is very clear. The X mark is right at the base of the cliff, next to a large, flat, dark rock. The rock is covered in dry seaweed. Myra approaches the rock. She pushes the seaweed away. and she sees something unexpected. She sees a small, old iron ring attached to the rock. The ring is rusty, but it is strong. She pulls the ring with both hands. The rock moves slightly, but it does not open easily. Myra pulls again with all her strength. Slowly, with a loud grinding sound, the large rock lifts like a heavy door. Underneath the rocks there is a hole, a dark, deep hole leading into the cliff itself. Myra feels her heart beating fast. This is the secret. She has found the hidden place. She shines her flashlight down. She sees old stone stairs going down into the darkness. She takes a deep breath. She has found the entrance. Now she must find the way out. Myra has found a hidden map in an old sea captain's journal that led her to an old, abandoned lighthouse. She has uncovered a large, flat rock that hides a dark hole and a set of old stone stairs leading down into the cliff. Part 3: Descent into the Dark. Myra stood at the entrance to the hole. The air was cold and still, and it smelled of salt and old, wet stone. She took her flashlight and she began to go down the stone stairs, one slow step at a time. The steps were uneven and very slippery. She had to move carefully. She did not want to fall. The hole closed the light of the day. Myra was now completely surrounded by darkness. Only the powerful beam of her flashlight was cutting through the black air. She thought about turning back. The old, deep passage felt dangerous, and it felt scary. But then she remembered the words from the journal, the starlight. The mystery was calling her forward. She continued down. She counted the steps: 60 steps, 70 steps, 80 steps. Finally, the stairs ended. Myra stood on a dirt floor, in a small, damp chamber. The chamber was round, like a hidden, forgotten room. The only sound was the distant, quiet echo of the ocean waves outside. Myra shined the light around the walls. The walls were natural rock, smooth from the water that had passed through them over many years. She noticed a second opening, a small tunnel at the far end of the chamber. This tunnel was narrow, and it looked man-made, cut by tools. She went through the tunnel. It was dark, and she had to walk sideways in some places. It was a tight, long walk, a long and difficult path. After 5 minutes, the tunnel opened into a much larger space, a huge underground cavern, a cavern that was completely dry. The air was suddenly warm and very still. The cavern was the size of 2 large houses. Myra moved her light across the walls, and she saw something amazing. Along the walls, there were thousands of beautiful, perfect crystals. They were white, blue, and purple. They shone brightly under the flashlight's beam. The light was dancing, making the cavern look like a dream, but this was not the secret. This was not the starlight. Part 4: The Starlight. Myra walked through the glittering cavern toward the center. She saw a small, simple wooden table and a wooden chest resting on the table. The chest was old, but the wood was smooth and the lock was made of shining brass. The chest did not look dusty or forgotten. It looked like it had been visited recently. As Myra approached the chest, she felt a sense of quiet waiting. The entire cavern seemed to hold its breath. She put her hand on the chest. The brass was cool, the chest was locked, but Silas's journal had given her the clue. Myra took the journal out of her bag. She opened it to the last page. She looked at the drawing of the map, and she looked at the words, the starlight. She realized that the starlight was not the treasure, it was the key. She looked around the cavern. The only light was from her flashlight, but as she moved the light, she noticed something above her head, a small, perfectly cut hole high in the cavern's ceiling. This hole was not for air, it was perfectly shaped to let one thing in. Myra looked at her watch. It was almost 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The day was bright outside. She moved her light away from the ceiling, and she waited. She waited for exactly 3 minutes. Then, slowly, a single beam of light shot through the small hole. It was the sunlight. The light was straight and pure. The light was moving slowly, like the hand of a clock, until it landed directly, precisely, on the brass lock of the wooden chest. The sunlight hitting the brass lock was the starlight. As the light hit the lock, Myra heard a faint, subtle click. The lock had opened. Silas had designed the lock to open only at a specific time of day, only when the sun was at the perfect angle. It was a beautiful, secret mechanism. Part 5: The True Treasure. Myra opened the wooden chest. The chest was not full of gold coins. It was not full of jewels. It was not the kind of treasure she had imagined. The chest contained three things: a simple leather scroll, a small, smooth, dark stone, and a stack of 50 letters tied with a thin, faded ribbon. Myra first took the leather scroll. She unrolled it carefully. It was a detailed blueprint, a design for a new, stronger lighthouse, one that could resist any storm. The blueprint was dated 1930, 5 years before the old lighthouse was damaged. Silas had tried to warn the town. He had designed a better solution, a more secure structure. Next, Myra opened one of the letters. The letters were from Silas to his young daughter. She was very sick, and Silas was often away at sea. In the letters, he did not write about money. He wrote about his love, his hope, and his dream of building something strong, something that could protect people, just as he wanted to protect her. The small, dark stone was a simple message. It had a single word carved into its side: service. Myra understood the secret. The true treasure was not gold. The true treasure was Silas's legacy, his plan to serve the community, his love for his child, his belief in protecting others. He had hidden the blueprint and the letters to ensure his purpose was found by someone who had the curiosity to look deeper, someone who did not rush to find money. Myra felt a powerful connection to the man from 1920. She closed the chest quietly. The sun beam had already moved away from the lock. The chest was safe again. She has realized that the most valuable things in life are not what we can hold, but what we can build and what we can share. She had found a hidden map, but she had truly found a hidden purpose. Myra has found a hidden map that led her to a cavern beneath an old lighthouse. The treasure was not gold, but a design for a new lighthouse, letters of love, and a stone marked service, revealing a sea captain's true legacy of purpose and protection. Part 6: The Architect of the Future. Myra stood in the silent cavern. The beam of sunlight had gone, and the lock was closed again. She did not feel disappointed. She felt rich, rich with purpose, rich with knowledge. She packed the blueprint and the letters carefully into her bag. She knew she had a job to do. Myra returned to the town. She presented the blueprint and Silas's journal to the town council. She told them the whole story. The council was amazed. They realized that a simple historian had found the answer to a decades-old problem. They decided to use Silas's 1930 design to build a new, stronger lighthouse, one that would protect the town for the next century. Myra did not ask for money. She only asked that the new lighthouse be built with Silas's name on the foundation. Her small act of curiosity, her slow, careful study of an old map, had saved the town a fortune and had honored a forgotten hero. She wrote one final thought in her notebook: the greatest treasures are not found, they are revealed by a searching heart, and they are built for the good of all. And that, my friends, is the end of Myra's story, a story about how curiosity, patience, and a good heart can change the world. Grammar and vocabulary review. Now, let us review 3 key words from Myra's exciting adventure, words that will help you talk about your own discoveries. The first word is curious, curious. To be curious is to have a strong desire to know or learn something. Myra was curious about the old journal. You are curious about learning new English words. The second word is legacy, legacy. A legacy is something valuable or important that a person leaves behind when they are gone. Sila's left a legacy of love and service. Your legacy will be the knowledge and kindness you share. The third word is foundation, foundation. A foundation is the solid base or the core idea. The new lighthouse was built on a strong foundation. Your foundation in English is the simple grammar and vocabulary you learn every day. Final lesson in call to action. Myra's journey teaches us a vital lesson. Look closely at the things everyone else ignores. The real secret was hidden not in gold, but in a blueprint for service. The journey of learning English is the same. The true progress is not the big achievement, but the small details you notice, the simple words you master, the strong foundation you build. You are building your own great legacy. One lesson at a time. Thank you so much for joining us for this adventure on Daily English Upgrade. If you found this story exciting and helpful, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. It is the best way to support us and ensure you do not miss the next lesson. Now, for your final challenge in the comments below, write one thing you are curious about learning next, using the word curious. We will see you next time. Keep learning, keep discovering, and keep upgrading your English.